Thank
music's
God
gone.
that's the last time I have to hear that. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Wait, hold on.
I'm glad it took Dan 7 years.
Oh, you're
Okay, is
Dave.
that like a slimy?
Dave's got nothing to do tomorrow.
Is that like a slimy like sound effect you got going there, or is that actually part of
Yes.
the song?
No, that's not part of the song. That is I layered that. That took a long time to edit. Something you wouldn't know anything about, Mark. So shut up.
Hey, have you seen my Silent Night video? I did a narrative over
There's
that.
a lot of
so.
a narrative. Oh man, you're gonna catch
Narration.
up one day. When you need some good editing done, let me know. We're gonna start the show eventually.
I'll take.
Before
I'll
the
take
intro
pictures.
starts, I just want to hear Mark's opinions on this guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Just say whatever's on your mind. It'll be the same thing, Dan. So
Yeah, pretty much. Hi, Paul. How are you?
how are you?
We're off the rails already.
Yeah.
Might as
well,
well go out with a bang.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Stadium Journey Podcast. Thanks for joining us this evening. StadiumJourney.com is the world leader in sports travel information with reviews of over 2,600 stadiums from all around the world and counting. If you're a social media person, we're on, as the young kids say today, like, share, follow, right? They probably don't say that at all. If you like what you're watching or hearing today and you want to see more,
sorry.
just go wherever you look for your favorite podcast. Type in HIAC Talk Radio Network, and you'll find us too. If you want to watch the video of this podcast, go to Stadium Journey's YouTube page. And if you want to be part of our studio audience, well, you can't anymore, so never mind. All right, so before we get started, let me introduce everybody. Dave Cotney is here. Follow him online at ProFan9. Mark Viquez is on the internets at Ballpark Hunter. Hey, he was in Jersey, caught a drone.
Yeah, caught a drone. It's mine.
Hey.
The above average comedian Dan Colachico's here too. Follow him at DanLaw83. Unless you're following him on Twitter, then he's at DanLawTV. And I am Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. So it is our last show of 2024. The end of the year is fast approaching, and so that means it's time for our annual Best of the Year episode. So we're going to talk tonight about some of our favorite experiences from the past year, and as well as sharing some tales from the road from our writers at Stadium Journey and from some of you in the audience. So let's get started, shall we? We're gonna divide the show up into 4 categories as we do every year. We talk about the best game that we saw in person all year, the best stadium we visited. We're going to talk about the best city we visited, and then the biggest surprise for 2024. And like I said, I've got some input also, not just from the panel here, but from some of our writers over at Stadium Journey who contributed some ideas, and some of you who let us know online some of your best experiences. So who wants to lead us off? We're going to start with the best game of the year. Who wants to lead us off? Who saw the best game of all the best games?
I don't know. It
They
could have
think
been.
he did.
I know I did. Because my best game was huge. So my best game this year, well, I had a few runner-ups. I saw an RMC Waterloo hockey game that was crazy. It was 7-6, ended in a shootout. Or no, just overtime, sorry. Of course, my Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks won the Yates Cup, which was in the running for a second. But really, there was really only one game of the year, and it was such a big game. I actually went back on YouTube today and watched the highlights from it. So my game of the year was from March Madness. So I got to go to March Madness, the first round in Pittsburgh, and I got to see the upset of the entire tournament. And that was the Oakland Golden Grizzlies 80 and the Kentucky Wildcats 76. It was I didn't know this at the time, turned out to be John Calipari's final game at Kentucky because he's the head coach at Arkansas now. And it was one of these deals where Oakland was a 14 seed, Kentucky a 3 seed. Oakland won the Horizon League, but they were just drastically, outranked. And they just kind of hung around. You know, they were up 1, they were down 1, they were up 2, they were down 1, they were up 3. Like the lead was never really huge. But a guy by the name of Jack Golke, who I think is currently playing basketball in Montenegro, uh, shot 10 3-pointers in the game. And yeah, just a shocking win. And if you are not a Kentucky fan, if you're an anti-Kentucky person, then yeah, it was a great game. And to find out that they basically ran Calipari out of town after that was shocking. Uh, you know, talk about entitlement when a team can, you know, move a legend like that out. Just bizarre. So anyway, March Madness. I want to say that almost every year that I've picked my game, it's been a college game of some sort. So that's my game of the year. So what do you guys got?
All right. Hey, let me input here a couple of our other ones. We got Terry McCutcheon, who's one of the writers for Stadium Journey. He says his favorite game this year was a Texas high school playoff game, West Plains versus Salina. And that game was his favorite because it featured 4 touchdowns in the final 4 minutes of the game, including one that was a returned onside kick for a touchdown.
Jeez.
Right. How do you return an onside kick? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Buffalo almost did it.
Wow.
Last night. Let's see. Gregory Koch, another one of our writers. Greg's probably in the audience right now. We gave the we put the assignment out to all our writers, and excuse me. You know, in school when you were told to write like a 2-page essay, Greg went above and beyond. Greg actually wrote like a 10-page essay about his.
He wrote a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually had a professor one time in college, and he said you have a 500-word essay. When it hit word number 500, he would stop. So if you went over his limit, he would put like a red line, and he said, "This is where I stopped." So anything that you said afterwards didn't count. He only graded you on the first part of it. So Gregory, I'm not going into your whole thing. I'm sorry, man. it was literally a page long.
Well, what was the game?
So Gregory's favorite game, it was actually 2 games. It was the NWSL quarterfinals.
Okay.
Greg is a season ticket holder.
Nice.
It was the Washington Spirit versus Bay FC. And this game was notable for him because Washington Spirit tied it late in the game and then ended up winning it in extra time to go on to the semifinals where they played New Jersey, New York, Gotham. And that game actually went into a shootout afterwards. But he said the atmosphere, what's the place they play? The Audi?
I think Audi Field, yeah.
And Washington.
Gotham.
He said it was just unbelievable. He said it was comparable to any MLS game he's ever been to. It was the loudest game he's ever seen, and crazy. Thank you, Gregory. So that was Gregory's. Gregory's best game was a doubleheader, actually, 2 weeks in a row. So the Washington Spirits run to the conference finals. What do you got, Mark, for your favorite game?
You know, I was going to say the NIT championship. If Indiana State had pulled it off, that would have been my favorite. But you know, the Seton Hall Pirates had a score, and then my whole team decided to go to St. Louis in Texas to play basketball. So a little bit upset with that. I'm going to go high school football as well. I went to the Mudsock game, which is between Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers High School. And I'm like, okay, I'll go there. There'll be some people. There might get some good videos. There were 8,000 people at this game. Well over 8,000 people at this high school football game. Was not expecting it. It could have even been one of my surprises. And what I loved about it was you had both high school sections, the students. Fishers is in red, Hamilton Southeast is in royal blue. I mean, they came color coordinated. They were doing cheers back and forth. They had smoke machines. They had signs. I mean, this was just such a fun environment. I never enjoyed going to a high school football game in Indiana or New Jersey growing up. And here I was just having a blast. I'm like, man, I wonder how many other stadiums near me are like this, because the school I work for, our games are kind of mundane because their team hasn't been good in a while. But that might change. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then they even bring out like an extra VIP section where they serve you food and not alcohol, obviously, and
At a high
drinks.
school game?
Yeah,
Wow.
food and drinks. Yeah. There it is. I mean, that was insane. And it's these two high schools that have such a huge rivalry. And it's called the Mud Sock. I wrote an article about it for the website. It goes back to the 1800s, why it's called Mud Sock. And then they're having these two teams will play in the new arena near me as well
Good
in a
little
basketball
guy.
game. So yeah, I mean, it's insane. It was just so much fun, so much fun. I would like to go back there next year and go into that VIP section and try some of the food. Spend the $75. But yeah, it's just a lot of excitement, and it just tells you don't have to travel far to get a great experience. I mean, I could have said Milwaukee, London. I could have said Bloomington, Indiana. I think I was in Columbus, Ohio, as well. But no, this was my one of my favorite games because it was actually a pretty good game to watch too. It wasn't like it was a blowout. It came down to the final couple minutes, and then all the fans, all the students ran on the field at the end. So just a big surprise, wonderful game, and just beautiful night for high school football a few months ago here in the Indianapolis area. So number one, Mud Sock game.
8,000 people at a high school football game and
At least.
$75 a ticket. Holy.
No. That's
No.
75 for the VIP section.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah. No. I don't know how many people you had there, but yeah, they're what the heck do you call those folks? The sports
Who's
directors.
Insane.
Yeah,
Oh.
sports. Yeah, she said I had 8,000 requests.
wow.
There could have been 9,000. Yeah.
Yeah, not in my area of the country.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the second coldest I ever was in my life was a high school football game, the homecoming game at my high school. My senior year is the second coldest I ever was in my life. First being the outdoor classic in Hershey. That is the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Coldest
Woo.
I ever was on the deck of a ship when I was working for my dad's shipyard in an ice storm.
No,
And
there's
I was
gotta one
being a
up
fire
this
watcher. It's like I would have welcomed a fire. I wouldn't have told anybody about it.
Yeah, really. Hey, I'm gonna
that's
tell you.
That's
Why
the
did you
worst.
tell us about the fire? I was warming up.
I was thawing out. I couldn't.
Well, we
talk
lost
at
the
all.
front of the ship, but we're not sinking, so there's a win-win.
So yeah, I mean, for all you sports snobs who say who like look down at us for going to minor league games and this
They
small
do.
college or hitting the road for these crazy places, look at everybody's choices are, they're all over the place. We got high school sports, we got women's soccer.
College football.
Meg Menard, another one of our writers and one of our management team. She was at Diana Taurasi's last game for the Phoenix Mercury, and that was her game of the year. She didn't give me much details. She was the opposite of Gregory. She took a minimalist approach. She just told me that Diana Taurasi last game was her favorite of the year. Remember our buddy Eddie Hoops? He always pitches in for our end of the year show. He said his favorite game, and I don't want to read this one because I was watching this game and it was a heartbreaker for me. It was the Ivy League tournament, Yale against Brown. Yale was down 6 points with 27 seconds left and came back and won it at the buzzer with a three-pointer. So, yeah, from the Brown point of view, that was a heartbreaker. But for Eddie, that was his game of the year. It was a fantastic game. And they played, the Ivy League tournament plays in one of the school gyms. And, the Ivy League gyms are mostly little bandboxes. So I believe last year it was at Columbia, but I could be wrong about that. So this coming year, it's at Brown. So maybe I'll get to work it. Who knows? And our buddy Dave from the internet, Dave doesn't have his last name on his account, so I won't out him here. His if you want to follow him, he's Dave LB87. His favorite game of the year was Wake Forest, the ACC baseball tournament, Wake Forest against North Carolina. And I remember watching this game on TV. The highlight of it was there were 3 first-round picks who were playing in this game, and he said they all played like stars. You had Chase Burns, who pitched 6 shutout innings with 15 strikeouts. You had, I can't read my own writing here. Vance Honeycutt tied the game in the 8th inning, and then Nick Kurtz tied. He tied the game again in the 9th because it was tied. Then somebody went ahead and somebody tied it. Tied the game in the 9th, and then he won the game with a home run in the 12th. I remember that game. That was great theater. So that was Dave's best game. My best game was also a baseball game. I don't think I've ever had a baseball game as my best game of the year in 7 years, but I do this year. It was part of our crazy baseball trip. The game of the year for me was the Memphis Redbirds and the Nashville Sounds on a random July night. July 2nd it was, actually. So it was part of our trip. So we had pulled in from Nashville, North Carolina the night before, drove the whole length of Tennessee. And if you could envision the map, Tennessee's a long, skinny state. And we went from this end all the way to there. We didn't take the short way, went the long way. And pulled into Memphis. Pulled into Memphis. And before the game, we ended up stopping at Charlie Virgo's Rendezvous. Any of you ever been there? On some of the best ribs I've ever had in my life.
Let me interrupt you. I did a Memphis Redbirds game back in 2007, and that's what they served in the press box.
Oh, man.
We had to pay $4 for it, but it was the best $4.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. They're dry rub ribs, and the seasonings. Outstanding. I would go back to Memphis just to eat those. So that's how we started our day. Is this the game?
It's the next day.
We weren't there the next day.
Yeah,
so,
I know, but
that jersey looks familiar.
I typed in July 2nd, but it only.
No, that is it because they were in the Oak Milkers. That is the game. It is July 2nd.
Wrong. Oh, there you are.
It was dated wrong on the search, then I got it.
And this was actually there we are right there. Oh, I saw us.
Hold on, wait, hold on. We're gonna do it.
We were right on the end, right before it switched over. But anyway, this was also Pam's 200th baseball game. Baseball stadium she's ever been to.
Oh, I saw you.
So not only that, it was Pam's 200th game. We actually won one of those oat milker jerseys. There we are, right up there in the car. Yep. So we won one of the jerseys. We won a jersey from Nick Raposo, who, coincidentally enough, is from Rhode Island. So funny. But anyway, this game was a back and forth affair. Nashville was up for most of the game. At one point, I think it was like by the 6th or 7th inning, they were up 6-3. Memphis came back with 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th to go up 8-6. Nashville went back ahead 9-8 in the top of the 9th. The bottom of the 9th, Jared Young hit a home run to tie the game with 2 outs and 2 strikes. So the 100 fans in attendance went crazy. It was a Tuesday night in Memphis, so nobody was there. And I was going to bring my jersey down and hang it up behind me, but I forgot. So we went to Nashville scored a run in the top of the 10th. And then Thomas suggests 3-run homer in the bottom of the 10th to walk it off for Memphis. It was awesome to be there, and I love being in an empty stadium anyway. So to see a game like that,
really. Yeah. I wanted to do this for Greg while you were finishing your story. Go ahead. First.
The Oat Milkers.
He doesn't like it. I don't know.
I don't either. It's stupid promotion. But I have a jersey now. But I have one of those jerseys now.
Don't get triggered. It's okay.
For those of you who don't know, the Oat Milkers went into a promotional deal with MILB, and every minor league affiliated team wore that jersey one game and played as the Oat Milkers instead of their regular brand. One game.
I wish they would do something better with the jersey.
Yeah.
If you're gonna come up with the Cowboy Daddies or the Dairy Daddies, let's go for something a little more animated. Come on.
And I've had oat milker ice cream before. It's terrible. Terrible.
Now I agree with Greg. Now I agree with Gregory. Now I'm on his side. If it's bad ice cream, then go the hell with him. Boo.
So those are our looks at the best game of the year. Did we get anybody in the peanut gallery joining in? I've got mine closed. Let me open up my chat box.
Let me see.
No.
How do I open my chat room? Oh, there it is.
Any game with the oat milker automatically goes to the bottom of my list. Well, yes for you, man.
I brought that one up.
Bad ice cream. It was bad. And I had it at Wrigley Field. So it was double.
Oh God. Yeah. There's nothing worse than hearing about a dairy product like you gotta try it. It's so good. It just gone.
It was funny. We got our ice cream helmets because one of our traditions, we always get an ice cream helmet. Went back to the seat, started eating it. Like, this ice cream doesn't taste right. And Pam said, no, it didn't. It didn't. And then we looked at the stand. Oh. We didn't get ice cream. We got whatever this is.
Yeah. It's like getting a cheesesteak before at the Wells Fargo Center before they did the renovation, and you're like, this is gonna be great. And you're like, oh, this is not great at all.
So
This is
disappointed.
terrible. I'm gonna go jump off the roof
It
now.
was like the other day, Pam brought home cheesesteaks. And I said, oh, I really hate when you bring home cheesesteaks. And she says, why? When you go to Philly, you always eat one? I said, yeah, we're in Philly.
Yes.
When you bring one home from Dave's Pizza, no.
Oh, poor Dave's Pizza. Oh.
No, I wasn't. I changed the name just to.
Yeah, no, I
protect the
figured you
guilty.
did. There, and I won't change this name. When I spent time in Massachusetts,
Oh, it's like when you get pizza out here in Indiana.
Well,
It's like,
I'll just shut up. That's fine, Mark.
We've been
We'll
talking
give you
over
time
here
to
for 7 years, Dan. Why are we going to stop now?
Why stop now? Yeah, that's fine.
we do got a lady from Philly that makes authentic cheesesteaks. I haven't tried them yet, but
Why? Where?
in Indy.
Well, let's go.
Let's do it. Come out.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, I'll go right now. I'll be back.
Right now. Get leaving
All
right
right.
now. No,
All right.
there's. See you later. Bye. Here. Get out of
Mark's off to get a cheesesteak.
here. No,
All right,
If he would have come back with a cheesesteak in his hand, man, I would have just died.
Dude, I would have quit there.
I'll do that
No,
next
we're
show.
not doing-
I'll have it set up.
There was a place called D'Angelo's up in
It's in
in
New England.
Massachusetts.
They still exist.
They man, they tried. I'll give them credit for trying. But no.
Dude, number 9s are good.
I'm not debating you. I did not like it. Of course, this is also in 2004, between 2002 and 2006. So maybe it's changed, but I did not have a.
No,
had a
I don't
green
think I've had
logo at
one.
the time.
I don't think I've had one in the 2000s. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean
they're good. They're good. They're not the same, but they're good.
Same Journey Convention in Indianapolis with pregame luncheon at Mark Friend's Cheesesteak Store. I don't need to go that far though.
Gregory, we have an idea for a convention. I'm not going to announce it here yet because plans are, as they would say, nebulous.
Yeah, well, what about the Nebula? Mutara?
No, yeah, Indianapolis
All right.
could work.
So we've
Planet
wrapped up
Gems.
our first category, best games. If you're following us on social media, feel free to share your favorite games of 2024. So let's move on to, excuse me while I hit my cough button here.
Just kidding.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hold on.
I think the cough button is kind of counterindicated when you announce that you're going to do it, right?
This is
So
for you. Been holding off on that for weeks for you guys.
Who was the guy who was doing an interview and he just let one rip?
I mean,
I think that was Mike Francesa.
Yes.
all
I
the,
didn't thought I wouldn't do that. That's a lie. I can't.
on this show. No, I won't do that. I have 4 things to critique while I hear crap my pants on the air. Thank you.
Oh, I hate to get
All
off
right.
topic, but listen to prank phone calls to Mike on WFA. Best 2 hours you can spend.
You don't have to apologize for getting off topic, Mark. We do it all the time.
You'll do it all the time. Okay.
All right. So next category, best stadium you visited in 2022.
Oh, okay.
Let me start with a couple of our listeners. Let's start with Dave LB, 87 again.
Paul,
He's
2020
yes,
2022?
2024.
Oh, you said 2022, and I was like, are we doing a
Where was
lark?
I?
We're doing a what do you call it? Retro episode.
Retro. I got really confused.
Dude, man, it's been a long day at work.
I know. I'm not making fun of you. I got confused. I wanted to make sure.
We got on this list here, we got some exotic places that are going to make ours look like a pile of crap. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Dave went to Europe. Mark went to Costa Rica. Maybe you guys got something up your sleeve that I don't know about. But Dave's favorite stadium this year was, and I'm going to butcher this because I don't speak Spanish, Estadio Ciba Santiago in the Dominican Republic. So I'm guessing Dave went to a Dominican League game or two.
I can't do that one.
It's Estadio. I know I said that right. It's Cibao. How would you say that? Anybody speak Spanish on this panel?
Well,
not
you know, we
really.
have a Viquez here.
Yeah.
Uno más cerveza. I can say that.
Oh, I got it.
It's in Santiago.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Republic.
I got it. It's not letting me bring it up, but I got it. It's a cool looking stadium. I wish I could show you guys.
Believe me, it's awesome.
Believe me, it's great. Is it this one? I think it's this one. God dang it. I was doing so well.
I assume it's Ciabo.
Ciabo?
I mean, if you're going to pronounce it phonetically, Aguila.
Well, then it would be Sabeo.
Aguilas Cibanas. Oh boy. Yeah, when I
Mark,
speaking of
Go
Costa
figure.
Rica,
Enriquez doesn't speak Spanish.
speaking
What?
of Costa Rica, when I was speaking Spanish down
Yeah.
there, everybody started speaking English to me. So those are a few things.
That was my experience in Quebec City too. Whenever I tried to speak French, they'd answer me in English. Dude,
And
stop
they
trying.
spoke really good English too because I understood them. He's like, "No,
Is
sir,
it?
right this way."
You said it was a baseball stadium.
I'm assuming.
Estadio.
Well, it's in the DR. It's either got to be soccer or baseball, right?
Friggin' no. Yeah, it's baseball stadium.
You know darn well it's baseball.
I don't know.
Dave's a big baseball guy, so that would be my assumption.
This is as good as gonna get, folks. It's that one. I don't know why the Google searches are being mean to me right now.
What's that thing next to it?
I'm assuming it's an arena for something.
For team handball.
It
All right,
would-
so we got Dave picking out a thing from the DR. We got Eddie Hoops. His favorite
Eddie.
stadium was I'm gonna mess up this one too. Corinthians Neo Quimica Arena. He was at the NFL Brazil game.
Oh, there you
He
go.
said
Oh, okay. He went to the Eagles game. All right, I didn't know that.
He said that stadium had a lot of stuff that you just don't see in U.S. stadiums.
Like what?
I don't
Eddie.
know. He didn't go into detail. He didn't do a report like Gregory.
Brazilian women.
Yeah, that's one thing we don't have here is Brazilian women.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You see, the food, the chants, the customs, just the little things.
I got to tell you, when I used to work at Gillette Stadium and they do an international friendly match, those were always my favorite games to work because of what you're saying, Mark. The singing and there was a game one time. There was a conga line going all through Gillette Stadium, all around the concourse. It was awesome.
International crowds for sports. American crowds suck. They suck.
Well, you look at Korean baseball, how they have like that cheer section down the first baseline.
Well, remember when we had our guest on who does the Japanese baseball league tours, and he was just telling us about the I forgot the word he used for the supporter sections, but
the American crowds, at least the American crowds, just don't hold a candle.
Well, I'm just like at a minor league baseball game, especially small ones. Like a Savannah Bananas game, you see a lot of silliness, and I like that. Why can't that be implemented in more?
We're too busy getting drunk and fighting.
I can't recall any North American sporting venues where like massive people were crushed because of craziness.
That is true, except for that Who concert and that Metallica concert.
It has not yet been mandated that fans of opposing teams must sit on opposite sides of stadiums. So,
well, you're talking about European hooligans.
Well, no, they did. They did that the high school football game I went to. They had to sit on opposite sides. So,
I mean, that's
believe it or not.
If you ever go to the old college football stadiums, there is separate entrances for visiting fans and home fans.
At one time,
I mean, that's it, but that's a different reason. I mean, at my high school, it was visitor side, home side. I mean,
right, because there's a bleacher on either side.
Yeah, and one was painted red, the other one was just white. I wanted to say about that game Eddie Hoops went to is I got to follow him on my new Twitter account. He probably thinks I'm ignoring him.
He's a busy man.
He is a busy man.
Eddie,
We've had many.
You're a busy man. You can't always get back to your.
I run into Eddie randomly once in a while in a random place. This year it was at Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut.
Hurt? Why did you run into him?
I never run into anybody.
I didn't literally run into him.
That says more about you than no. This was the only game I've seen. I keep checking Peacock every week because this game was broadcast on Peacock in 4K. And I was like, oh, all right, I can watch this. I sat down and watched it. After the show was over, I went down there and watched. I was like, this looks gorgeous. And I haven't been able to find a 4K game since. So that's from the home side of it. That's my two. I'm gonna be quiet now. Apparently nobody cares.
All right. So let's see. Mark, you went first last time, right? Dave, how about you? What was your favorite stadium this year?
Well, I went first last time, but
all right, Mark, you go first. Dave,
all right. Well, I mean, we went to North America and South America. Let's go to Europe. My favorite game was Plough Lane, which is the home of AFC Wimbledon, and they play at Cherry Red Record Stadium, but everybody calls it Plough Lane. They have corporate names, but it's like Plough Lane.
Plough Lane, yeah.
Corporate name, Cherry Red Stadium, whatever. This was my second football venue in England, but it was the first one that was packed. And about 3 weeks earlier, there was some bad flooding in London, and it destroyed part of the pitch. So they didn't know if they could play there. They had to cancel a game, and they had to play a couple other events elsewhere. So this was the first game back, and I didn't know if I was going to even get a ticket or a press pass, which you can see it hanging on me there. But I show up to the game. I told him, hey, I've been emailing somebody in media, but I haven't gotten an answer. And the guy goes, oh, here you go. So, George, if you're listening, thank you for hooking me up with that press pass. And there was a bunch of Chicago Bears fans in town. This was like the only soccer game going on in England, like a club game during that between the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets playing in town. So you had a lot of Bears fans buying,
I mean, they packed that place.
Yeah, 9,000 seat stadium, packed house. This is third division. And everybody was having a blast, singing, chanting. Like nobody was like here in the United States, we'd be ticked off because this is not an MLS venue. We would be upset about it. And if here's the mascot there and the Wobbles. And if there's an area behind it where there's food trucks and a microbrewery and beer, and there it is. This was such a cool spot to hang out. I was spending a lot of time there after the game because they don't kick people out after the game. You can hang out there for a while. Gets crowded in there. But this was just such a cool stadium that I wish folks in the U.S. would say, let's build this here. And
nobody's looking at you funny for walking around with a camera on.
No, nobody either. Yeah. All those cups, the people are
They
drinking.
don't give a crap, dude.
This field was messed up. This was
messed 17 beers in. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, and all those beer cans are all those.
Hey, go get some bagels.
Those beer glasses are recyclable. All the spoons recyclable. I had a steak and ale pie. I mean, the food prices were not extremely high compared to what I see at American venues. These guys are having some mushy peas there. Such a British food there. Look at this Chicago Bear guy.
Can I get an order of peas, please?
Yeah, this was just it was like, this is what I want, because I had gone to another game, but it was a cup game and it was barely full of people, but I had fun there. But this was like the legit experience of coming to see a soccer game. I was lucky to see 2 games, and this was about 2 miles away from the loft I was staying out. So I took the bus, easy to get around. If you go to London, do not drive anywhere. Just take mass transportation. It's so easy. Yeah, this was my favorite venue because, it really kind of tied up what I was thinking of. And you're right. Visitors and home cannot go into the same entrance. Even the pre-bars, you have to show your ticket, and it tells you whether you're home or away. And there's security guards out there. So they don't want any any tomfoolery going on there. But yeah, adding to the international flavor of this year's episode, Plough Lane, AFC Wimbledon, great team, great story too. Read my article on Stadium Journey to hear about how that team came into existence, because you couldn't do that here in the States either. Just read it. Go right now. StadiumJourney.com.
No, not right now. I'll wait till the end of the show.
No. Wait.
Oh, yeah, after. Okay, go right now. You can listen. I don't know how you watch us. Do you watch us? Do you listen to us? Tell me about it.
Well, according to our YouTube numbers, nobody really watches us.
Yeah.
Really
all right.
Let's
Dave.
see what else. What else we got for some best stadiums? Where am I? Let's see. Gregory's choice was actually a place I went to this year too. The new ballpark for the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Meredith Ballpark, I think it was called. Gregory surprisingly didn't say a whole lot about Hagerstown, but it is a nice new ballpark, and it's got. I know Gregory did mention that they feature like local concessionaires for their food, which is always nice, and I always love when a stadium does that. That always gives them an extra boost, in my opinion. One thing about Hagerstown was that the ticket office was hard to get to. It was way out in the outfield, and you couldn't drive to it because you had to park over here or I had to park over here. But it's a brand new neighborhood. I actually drove by the spot of old Memorial Stadium. Anybody ever go there for the Suns?
Yes.
It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore.
Yeah. Well, it looked like it wasn't there when it was up either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, really. It's an Amazon warehouse now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that was Gregory's choice for best stadium of the year, and Terry McCutcheon chose Riverfront Stadium for the Wichita Wind Surge as his favorite this year. How about you, Dave? What you got?
So I was debating between Richardson Memorial Stadium, which hosted the Vanier Cup this year.
Shut up, Greg. I went the other way. It was hard.
That was pretty good. Or Mattamy Athletic Center, which is formerly Maple Leaf Gardens.
Maple Leaf Gardens, yeah.
I went to
Oh,
the
wow.
University Cup, but I actually chose my favorite venue of the year, even though that jerk Paul Baker like bailed on me. So my
Dude, I couldn't even walk that day, man.
and this is like a Mark Viquez spot too. So my venue was Oriole Park at Camden Yards,
One of my
Nice.
favorites.
and I think the main reason is because I was just so surprised how different it was
When
from
they're
the
winning.
previous time, but not that different. Like when I had gone previous, the Orioles were bad and it was fine and whatever. With the Orioles being in like first or second place this year, it was crazy. When we entered on Utah Street, it was packed.
Oh, it
That's
was.
the way it should
And
be, yeah.
we didn't get Hawaiian shirts, but I was still okay with it.
That's all right. I saw the
Uh,
shirts. It was okay. We missed them.
Yeah. And our friend David Welch was there with us.
Yeah.
Went down to the area where they have all the statues, which is pretty neat. And Baltimore has a good history with their statues of former players and whatnot. That place was packed. There was a huge band. There was a band there.
They had a band playing. Ooh.
Everybody seemed to be in that spot. It was just such a different feeling. And, Baltimore does a phenomenal job with their history. I felt that we actually went from the Washington Mystics game where we were at in the afternoon. And I felt when I got to Baltimore, it was like, man, I should have been here an hour ago just to kind of peruse all the stuff that was there. That was probably the only negative piece, is that I couldn't really do the perusing and treasure hunting and all that I like to do because it was just so full. And, we had to get up to our seats. But yeah, Oriole Park at Camden Yards, they do need a new speaker system. And Paul was bad-mouthing the PA announcer the whole time. So,
Yeah, I got a bad habit now. When I come in, I critique the PA announcer wherever I go. I'm sure they do the same to me though. So
nice.
yeah, that was my venue of the year. It was a good day.
I'll tell you why I bailed on you, Dave.
Because you found the bar.
It was 105 degrees that day, and it was a sold out crowd. So I think I had a purple shirt on that was no longer purple. I was suffering, and I had a bout of sciatica that day.
Ooh.
So bad that I was literally dragging a leg behind me.
Yeah.
When I was walking.
I went to Kansas City with a bad sciatica pain.
And I felt like I was in like this. And I'm not a small guy, and Dave's next to me. He's not a small guy, and we're just. I'm like, I'm too sweaty to be rubbing up against somebody, man. I gotta move. I gotta go take a walk. Let's go get a drink. So we wandered around, and I've been to Camden Yards. I went to college in Baltimore, so I've been there a billion times. And went down onto Utah Street where there was a little more room, and spread out a little bit, and tried to watch the game from out there. But that porch was crazy too. And where the old Dempsey's bar is on Utah Street, we were going to go in there and duck in for a minute and grab a drink and a bite to eat. But it's now it's like a sportsbook restaurant. So we went in, and it had air conditioning, and it was beautiful. And so we ordered some crab. When you're in Maryland, you got to have something with crab in it. So we got some crab tater tots, and they were just fantastic. And the beers went down so smooth that we had another beer, and it was nice and cool, and my back was hurting. I'm like, you know what? How about we just stay here and watch this game on this giant screen right here? So we watched the last 3 or 4 innings there, and so when the game ended, we started walking. We figured, we'll beat Dave and Dave back to the car, by about 15 minutes or so. I think we got there 2 minutes before you because I had to stop because of my back a couple times. It was agony.
I don't recall waiting. So
yeah, no, we got there first, but not by a whole lot. But Camden Yards, excellent choice. And supposedly they're doing a lot of work on it, so maybe
like a new sound system.
I hope so.
No, it's fine.
No, I talked to some Baltimoreans. Don't call them Baltimoreans. They don't like that.
Well, the
They said, yeah, it's overdue. The sound system's terrible. So that is one of the improvements that's coming. So all right, I got it.
It's still my favorite venue I've ever been to.
I think once they improve the sound system, they can get a perfect score on the Stadium Journey.
Still my favorite.
They've done that already.
It's still my favorite venue I've ever been to.
You know what? I've probably been there 20 or 30 times in my life, and that was the first time it's ever been full, and it was really a different experience for me. I'm used to being able
There's these. I don't know if these are going to get removed with the rehab. I can't think of the word now that they're going to do to it. They're
renovation.
Renovation. Thank you. Jeez, I knew it was an R word, not that one. Out at left field, there's these seats that kind of are in a smaller section and kind of face towards the field.
Face the wrong way, yeah.
Yeah, and no, but they're in the right way, but it's odd. But it's the great. I sat there with Kelly, and it was just like, watching baseball. Great. It was great, and I loved. That is the first time in a long time I went to a baseball stadium for hours. Other than the game, I mean.
Yeah, the couple times we've gone, you've ducked out early too.
Yeah, and then Fitzner is not fun to stay at. I ducked out early.
That was a hot day too.
It's just the sun. That's like I can't stay here. But yeah, that's my and I'm a Phillies guy, diehard, even though I want to choke them out sometimes. But that stadium, it's a good stadium, but it's not Camden Yards. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I love Camden Yards. All right, so I don't have any more from our writers or anything. So we'll go right into my favorite. I'm not going to be exotic at all. My favorite stadium was actually a minor league baseball stadium. What's it called now? First Tennessee Park in Nashville was my favorite ballpark.
I can see that.
So fantastic park, and I had the good fortune of being there on the 4th of July, and they went all out. It was a sellout. It was a standing room only crowd, but it's such a beautiful park. And I went in not really knowing what to expect. I looked at your review, Mark, and kind of knew the basics. But when you come in, you think, all right, they got that scoreboard, the guitar-shaped scoreboard, which is iconic. And that's what I'm going to see. But when you come in, there is so much to do that have nothing to do with baseball. They've got a mini golf course there. They've got like a game area where you can go. What's it called? The bandbox? Is that where all the games are? Where you can go and there are separate bars in left field and in right field and not center field. But there's like different stuff. If you're not into baseball, there's so much to do all over this ballpark.
Yeah, and like if you're single, there it is. Kids just go there and hang. Single folks just hang out there.
Yeah, the bandbox looked like a bar. It looked like a bar scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Shuffleboard.
I've never played shuffleboard in my life.
Putt,
kind of fun.
Beanbag. What do you call that? Cornhole.
Yeah, they had cornhole games. They had the giant Jenga. The giant Connect Four, and that bar was like 4 deep all night long.
Hey, look, it's Knip.
Yeah, I don't. And this is a few years. It's been a while since I've been there, so who knows what's there now.
And the sound system was great. The fan support was great. It was fireworks night, and from where we were, we got to see the downtown fireworks and then the ballpark fireworks. So,
nice.
The food menu's got everything you ever want in a place like Nashville. It was just a fantastic venue.
And then they have like that beer garden outside. There's a restaurant, Van.
The only thing with that is it's not connected to the ballpark. So that's what we were looking forward to. So there's a brew pub right there. So we'll just go in and out there. No, it was.
Yeah. And I've been there about 3 times. The first year I went there, it was all construction zone. They were building the new apartments.
Yep.
Second year
those are still not done.
You started seeing more and more things popping up. So that Georgetown district neighborhood, it's a ballpark just kind of revitalized that area.
I don't think I've ever been to a fireworks show that hasn't had Paul McCartney and Wings' Live and Let Die as the damn finale song. Because you can see when you go back and watch on the board, when on the video I was sharing, you can see the song they're playing in the background on the show, and I'm like, sure as hell, it's Live and Let Die. Like, come on.
I do the music for all of our fireworks. I've never played that song.
Good, don't. That's good, because everyone I've been to is Live and Let. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I like that song. You only hear it 50 times in the friggin' movie. Almost cursed there. Sorry.
All right, so those are our choices for the best stadium of not 2022, but 2024.
2024.
All right, so moving on along, the next category is the best city we visited this year. All right, you know what? I haven't gone first yet, so I guess it'll be my turn to go first.
Everybody's so just hanging back this one.
So we were talking about first Tennessee Park, and Nashville was my best city of the year in 2024. And like I said, I had the good fortune to hit Nashville on July 4th. Holy crap, Nashville loves the 4th of July.
Well, they love any weekend or reason to celebrate.
Yeah, but they have this country music festival going on downtown that we were blindsided by. We didn't know anything was going on down there. So we were like, all right, we're going to get into the city because we came from Nashville. So we had about a 3-hour drive. There, we'll get in there about 11, 12 o'clock, spend the afternoon wandering around Broadway in the downtown area, see the sights, and then head on over to the, eat in a couple places and then head on over to the ballpark. We ran into a country music festival and 4th of July party.
Oh, boy.
350,000 people were downtown in Nashville on the 4th of July. But man, Broadway was fun. You think of some of the great streets in the country. You think about Beale Street in Memphis or Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Broadway in Nashville is right there, man.
Oh, it's much better than Beale. I think Beale Street's over.
Oh, I didn't like Beale Street much at all. It was also 105 degrees when we were in Memphis.
I just find Memphis overrated. Sorry for anybody who lives in Memphis, but Nashville, Nashville's fun. It's
now they had Broadway all blocked off here, kind of like it looks like here. No traffic. It was just pedestrian traffic. So they blocked you off, a block away, and you could just go up and down, in and out of the bars, and people were just open carrying, not guns, beer. I bet much people might have been open carrying guns too. And down at the end by the river, at the end of Broadway, they had a big stage, and I don't know who it was who played, but this went on all night. It was capped by this gigantic fireworks show, which had to have lasted about a half an hour.
Casey Musgraves.
No, it wasn't Casey Musgraves.
Ooh, wish it was.
Or was it? I don't know. I don't know who it was. I'm sure we could look it up if we want to. It was nobody I'd heard of, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So
Ernest Tubbs Record Shop.
Yeah, no, that's and there's a place called Jack's Barbecue, which is one of my favorite spots that I've had barbecue at. But yeah, Nashville's a great city. You're right. You get there with hotels. Were you able to get a hotel in Nashville that weekend?
No, we were kind of out by the airport.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Nashville's that one city. I always have issues with hotels. I feel like there's always something going on there, whether it's convention or celebration or something country music related.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
We went and we toured the Grand Ole Opry, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, we did what we could in Nashville. We only had a day. It's one of those cities where I am going to go back and get a better look at it.
The Grand Ole Opry stage is what, like this big, right?
No,
that's why I hate when you. That's why I hate when you do these.
Okay.
When you do these
huge, but
yeah,
I'm sorry. I hate when you do these stadium tours because you wind up in a place
Mark,
like
I'm just kidding.
And you wish you had more time there, and then you go to another town or city, and you're like, I can't wait to get the heck out of here. But that'd be a good episode for the future. Places we wish we had more time to spend.
Yeah, because you're right. Every year when I do a summer trip, and yeah, we're all the same. We're all like planning our trips to maximize our ballparks.
Yes.
Not to maximize the touristy part of it, because
in this trip, I want to drive back to Pulaski, Virginia to see.
Right.
Cal
we ended up with 2 days in Memphis and 1 day in Nashville. I really wish it would have been the other way around.
Yep.
Although we did Memphis right, but still, Nashville is a place I want to go back and check out some more. All right. So that was my city of the year. Before we go on to the next guy, let's get a couple of our inputs here. Gregory Koch, his city of the year was Roanoke, Virginia.
All right.
Yeah, I only spent the night there.
That one up.
Yeah, that's another city I wish I had more time in. Okay, go ahead.
Gregory says one of those smaller cities, very underrated, had that nice small town feel to it. And I thought he would just type something there. I saw the chat jump. You told me about the Roanoke Star. That's something that sits up on top of one of the mountains there, just kind of really nice at night. And Pop's Old Fashioned Ice Cream and Soda stand was a highlight. One of those old soda fountains. I went to one of those. They have one of those in downtown Philly. And I went to that. What's it called? Franklin's Mint. I went there.
The Franklin Mint.
No, not the Franklin Mint, but like it's Franklin something. But anyway, yeah, it's one of those little mom and pop old fashioned.
He sold me grilled cheese. I'm in.
There you go. But
Anybody
yeah,
else?
I had like a root beer float or something there, and it was, oh my god, instant
I
diabetes,
know
but it was so good.
I know the
Growing
place you're
up
talking about in Philly, but I
Virginia.
can't remember the name.
And let's see, our friend Meg Menard said picked San Diego as her favorite
Yeah,
city.
that's not too hard to disagree.
Yeah, I've never been to San Diego. That's on my short list. She
Yes,
talks
I've
about
been twice.
the lots of sports that are there, and the great weather, and the ocean, and the beaches, and everything that's down
Fish
there.
tacos.
I was
Maybe
there
heard.
2 years in a row in the 80s.
Nice.
First time I ever had Arby's curly fries.
That's your
Went all the way to
take.
San Diego for some Arby's curly fries, huh?
Well, I was 8 and 9. Okay,
Oh,
I
okay.
went where they took me.
Because
Then it
I
makes
went where they
sense.
took
you
me.
didn't grow up with Arby's in New Jersey, so get
No,
a
that's
good one.
not. There was an Arby's, but they were
There was
much
one
less.
near Action Park, so you had to risk your life, and
well,
Arby's at the end of the night was your reward.
well, we went there once. Go to an Arby's.
I don't
Let's get
even
the
know
hell
where
outta
the
here.
closest Arby's to me
All
is.
right.
There was one in off 130, and it was like that was the only one in the area.
130.
So
Camden
it
to
was
New
around the
Brunswick.
corner from where my aunt used to live, and I just remember it's also the first time I saw. Let's say I was 8 or 9, so we're talking about 91, 92. In between the lines in the road, there were the reflectors. They were not in Jersey yet. So
Yeah.
I still remember going over this overpass around a curve that was kind of up in the air and seeing reflectors on the road for the first time. Blew my little mind.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when people come to Jersey for the first time, they realize they can't make a left.
Make a left.
I had somebody complain about that to me the other day.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
look, not
When
my fault.
I-
You can't figure out a genius way to make a left.
We have
I
a
was-
jug handle in my hometown of Dartmouth, and yeah, you see all the time people like, oh wait.
Oh God. My dad. I was up in Jersey 2 weeks. My dad was in the 2 weeks ago. My dad was in the hospital, and from their house, the hospital's right there, right here. Took me 10 minutes because I had to go down, make sure, and wait at the light, make a left, wait at another light, and then finally go down. God, Jersey, come on, get into the 21st
And then another
century on
10
the roads,
minutes
pal.
waiting for somebody to fill your gas tank up.
Yes, exactly.
This
You want a
is one of those
receipt?
weird
No,
states.
just put the thing, close the door so I could leave.
Those damn gas jockeys.
Those damn Yankees.
All right,
wait,
Dave,
what?
you want to share your favorite city of the year?
Sure. Since this is the time of year where we're supposed to be giving, I'm giving once again because
Toronto.
my city this year, I didn't spend a lot of time in it. Actually, I thought about maybe it should be Westfield, Indiana, because I spent a lot of time there.
You did.
Had something to do with my son playing baseball at one of the 40
Grand Park.
ball diamonds that they have there or whatever. But
Over
no,
the Colts training camp.
yeah, it was crazy. No, my city of the year was actually Philadelphia.
I knew he was going to say it. I knew the way he was setting that up that was coming, and now
I had been before, but I had been before. It was pretty much a sports in, sports out. Had never really thought about doing too much. And this time we made it a little bit more touristy. Did the Liberty Bell and all this stuff around there. We ate at Reading Terminal Market, which of course is if you're an indecisive person, don't go there. You have no hope.
They have everything there, and I'm
oh
not
my gosh,
exaggerating.
it is so wild. And yeah, we went early, first like 11 o'clock kind of thing, and and we were able to find a seat, which is another challenge there. But yeah, we had a great time. We happened to be there when they had I think it's called the Lantern Festival, which is in a park kind of. I thought it was Chinatown ish. I'm not sure exactly what part it was, but that was a real highlight, a surprise, how much we enjoyed that. And of course we took in a Phillies game. Phillies were good. So, the atmosphere was a little bit better than I had experienced before. And there's a lot of stuff that's close to do on the way. We went to a Blue Rocks game in Wilmington. We stopped at Harrisburg on the way down and went to a game there. And my wife went shopping, and we went to Hershey. And yeah, Philadelphia kind of surprised me. Yes, I was there. that was really neat. I was a little bit worried because we talked a little bit about it last week. The plan that the Sixers have of building a new arena, which I have no idea why. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Wait, can you repeat that for me, please, Dave?
That I have no idea why they want to build a new arena. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I thought it was going to be here at this park, like in this area of town, which isn't a great area of town, but in the festival and this area, definitely made it worthwhile. So
yeah, that's in Franklin Square, so it's not so bad. But listen, I am vehemently against this arena. There's not a lot of good stuff there where they're building it, except for civilians in Chinatown. So it's like great. This is just great. I'm very happy you went. Did we not talk about that before? I didn't know you went.
Maybe, I don't know. We went. We just did a few days in the summer.
Yeah. No, I mean about the Lantern Festival. I don't.
Oh yeah,
you mentioned before.
Yeah, that was a real highlight. Elfath Alley, which is like a street with the oldest homes in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Right downtown.
If you're into cemeteries, you can go and see where all the fathers of America are buried, or you could just walk by them and peek in through the wrought iron gate and see. I think we saw Ben Franklin's grave without actually having to go in.
yeah. There's also his privy pit and other crap there, but it's the
Alfreds.
cobblestone streets.
There you go.
Alfreds, yeah. It's the cobblestone streets that make it for me. Like it's not been touched. and I believe that is where that ice cream shop is, kind of close by.
Could be.
And I wish I remember the name of it. And I have to check my Philly card at the door now because I can't remember. I am ashamed.
And we ate at Chickies and Pete's, which is
the one closer to the stadiums.
The one that's right by the sports complex.
I went there a couple times for MMR events. So, eating was,
it was fine. I don't get the crab fries thing. I don't understand why everybody gets excited about crab fries. They don't really do it for me. They're really just way too salty. And
now this we've talked about before, and this I agree with you with because I don't get it either. Also,
I like
no disco fries.
But being from Baltimore, it's the Old Bay seasoning that does it.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
I do like Old Bay seasoning, but you're right. Look, some people like things salty. Like you'd be surprised that taste people like.
Way back in the dark ages of Stadium Journey, we had a guy who wrote and lived in Philly, and he just swore by Chickies and Pete's.
Who was that?
Crab fries. Like he can't. Every review involved crab fries somehow.
Well, I like those crab fries.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, it's like salt and vinegar. People don't like those on their fries, but I like them. And gravy on their fries, people don't like that. But
vinegar. I thought that was just a Rhode Island thing. Oof.
Yeah, well, vinegar.
No,
well, they do that down the shore, like in Maryland, from what I remember. Yeah.
All right, so let's see.
Was he related to the guy that worked whoopie pies into every review?
Was he related to the guy who talked about the cotton candy hot dog?
No,
not the cotton candy hot dog. Oh my god!
Before that guy.
Every ballpark should have one of these.
I'm glad it's not me because I would just work in pork roll every freaking.
How about a hot dog and the buns made out of pork roll?
Hey, did you like how I worked pork roll into the message I put out?
I did. I just like that you were like this pork roll.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right, Mark. Where's your?
All right. Well, wait. I got some more from our listeners.
I get to say first. Okay, go ahead.
Just talk over him.
All right, Terry McCutcheon's favorite city this year, Wichita, Kansas. Anybody ever been to Wichita?
About 25 years ago. Very windy. I'd love to go back because
that's why they call the wind surge, right?
There.
I heard it's one of those up and coming places. I don't know.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
Yeah, it looks like it was fun.
It
Met a
has.
girl.
It is one of my Wichita. Whenever somebody mentions Wichita, I can't help but laugh hysterically because it's got one of my. Stop it, Mark. It's got one of my favorite wrestling memories from 1998, where Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell, who are big heels, just chew time, taking forever to come down to the arena, to the ring through the entrance ramp. They're in the NWO, so they're just milking it. And it's in Wichita, Kansas, and they get into the ring, they kill a little more time, and Buff Bagwell grabs the microphone and just goes, "We don't like Wichita." Just boo. Like, yes, that's the greatest heel. That was easy. And he just hands the mic to Scott Steiner, and they were off for 10 minutes yapping. That's all he needed to do. If I can find it,
I'm from
it's,
Memphis.
it's so funny because he didn't feel like working that night, so he just said 3 words that told him to shut up.
Some of our other favorite cities. Dave LB put in Las Vegas as his favorite city this year.
Yeah, Vegas is cool.
I've been to Vegas in about 15 years. Might be about time.
No, it's changed. It has changed. Every year it changes.
Yeah. And Eddie Hoops.
Eddie Hoops.
You're going to have to follow this one up, Mark.
Santo Domingo.
His favorite city was Seoul, Korea.
Oh.
He was at the MLB opening series this year.
I'm going to tell you, I'd love to go to Seoul, Korea, because there's a bunch of Korean baseball stadiums out there.
I thought he was going to say something else.
I mean.
Yeah.
Okay,
The Japanese baseball tour also does a Korean tour.
Yeah, no, I would love to do that because I think there's like 5 ballparks in Korea or 6. I mean, it's awesome. Looks awesome. So,
all right, and yours, Mark.
Well, let's stick with international feel. It's London, England. That's a no-brainer. I really didn't do heavy traveling this year, except for London and San Jose, Costa Rica. So it was a mix-up between the two. But I did more sports adventures in London than San Jose.
Those are kind of 2 big accepts, Mark.
Yeah, yes. Well, that's a weird
Costa
thing.
Rica. I didn't do much traveling. Costa Rica and London.
I did 20 ballparks this year, between Indiana and Kentucky, but I didn't do a lot of ballparks this year for the first time in years. But yeah, I was in Costa Rica in between soccer seasons, even though they have a basketball league down there that looks pretty fascinating. But yeah, London, England, I went to about 3, did a couple tours, went to a couple games. I mean, bunch of stadiums out there in London. I think there's about 16 to 19 football stadiums. Plus, it is just so beautiful to get around London by the tube or the bus. You just tap your card and you go, easy off, easy on. Beautiful markets, neighborhood markets that I wish I had more time out there. The food, people think the food in London sucks. It's really good. It's up and coming. Some great Indian food. Also, even if you go to like a McDonald's out there, it's the fries are not cooked in. They're cooked in. The laws in England, things are not cooked in bad trans fats or harmful chemicals. Like if you look at a Big Mac compared to a Big Mac here, there's less crappy ingredients in it. So the ketchup tastes different. The Cheetos have a different tint of orange, but I had some good meat pies out there. I tried some great chicken, some Portuguese chicken out there. So I had a blast. It was one of those cities you can just walk around the whole day and just bring an umbrella in case it rains, because it rained every day. Check out a soccer tour. Check out a neighborhood. I mean, it's loads of fun. I would love to go back. I wish it didn't take me 25 years to get back there, but definitely would definitely want to head back to London, see some more soccer games if I can. And you can also take the Channel to Paris. But yeah, if I go back, definitely want to head up to Manchester, see City play. But yeah, London was my favorite spot, hands down.
Nice. We got some
good
locations this year.
Real quick, Paul, humor me.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're gonna hear this.
Fuck, she can hear your bullshit. Shut up. Now it doesn't work.
Good. That's karma.
Okay, bye.
That was deep silence.
I didn't hear anything.
That? It didn't work? Well, 1 for 2.
Is that where he says Wichita?
No, he goes, we don't like Wichita.
We don't like Wichita.
Yeah. You know
All
what I
right.
said earlier when you didn't pay attention?
No, I was paying. Yeah, I didn't know
I don't think you
verbatim.
were.
You know, I
We don't like witch. That's
Just-
4 words.
I liked wrestling as a kid. I just never got into it like as an older adult, which
I
there's
don't like
nothing-
everything you talk about, but I pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah, I pay attention. I'm just like,
You know what? I quit.
good. I quit too.
Good.
I quit as well. I'm
I'll
gonna do
send you
my-
the link. I'll send you the link, Craig. Greg, not Craig.
Mm.
There.
No, but yeah, I got a lot of friends that watch wrestling, and one day maybe I'll get to another live event. It's been a while.
I mean, probably not. It was just funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why it
All
didn't work.
right. So let's move on to our final category, the biggest surprise of the year. Who would like to lead us off?
I can.
Dave,
Yeah,
you
of
teased
course.
us before the show started, so why don't you
Yeah.
go first?
I think we may have a connection. I have a feeling.
So mine's kind of a two-part surprise. So both surprises because they're similar yet so different. So my surprises of the year are the success of the PWHL and the WNBA and how different they've been received. So I'll say after the dissolving of the help me out here, PHF.
PHF.
PHF, yep.
PHF. It should have been the PBF, the Paul Baker Federation. Should have been. So after the dissolving of that and the rush to get it all together and the extremely weak rollout of logos and jerseys and all those kinds of things, which didn't happen before the season start, I was floored by how popular the league was. And I think what was neat is, and I didn't go to a game. My daughter, I'm sure, would love to go to a game, and we're working on it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It sounds audibly different, and I don't know if Paul, if it was like that, like when you were doing the Boston Pride. But watching one of these games on television, it sounds different. The crowd sounds different. Like
Yep.
you can tell that there's a lot of girls in the crowd, which is really kind of cool.
Oh, well, I mean, in that regards, no. I mean, it's the difference between it in Boston, for example, the difference between 750 people and 4,000 people.
Yeah, I get that too. But yeah, it's so popular. Like Toronto is already leaving their first home because they outgrew it already.
Yeah.
Whoa. Cool.
They've moved for this season to play at Coca-Cola Coliseum, which is where the Marlies play. Previously, they played where Toronto Metropolitan University plays at the old Maple Leaf Gardens. It's like the difference is like 3,000 to 9,000 or 10,000, right? Like, and by all standards, the games at Coca-Cola are selling out as well. And then you contrast that with the WNBA, which is, had a lot longer runway and really seemed to catch lightning in a bottle this year with Caitlin Clark. And I would say that this is really where I find it different. It changes. The PWHL, everybody seems to be on the same page and everybody seems to be really excited.
You know why they're on the same page? Because of the hostile takeover. They kicked out everybody who was on a different page.
That could be true.
That's also true.
That could be true.
The Boston Fleet had an opening for a new PA announcer, so I applied. Nothing. Crickets.
But on the flip side, the WNBA, the people involved just don't seem to be able to get out of their own way.
No.
So they've got this transcendent superstar.
Yep.
Who is
Superstar. Yep.
measurably aiding in the success of this league. And it's not outsiders who are trying to tear her down. It's insiders. It's people who play in this league who are jealous, it's people who used to play in this league. You know, when you have the league actually having to remove a legend like Cheryl Swoops from having any sort of talking point because she just seems to not want to give Caitlin Clark any credit. When you have
Well, she's wrong.
when you have someone who was drafted 5th or 6th overall, and it just spews jealousy about how, you know, really it should be, you know, I should be thought of as well. And let's face it, I mean, Caitlin Clark has said everything right.
Mhm.
Everything. She is a PR dream, whereas some of these other folks, like she just made Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, and the new coach of the Mystics said, "Well, it shouldn't be her on the cover; it should be everybody in the
Yeah,
WNBA."
no, it's their co-owner Sheila Johnson.
What?
said that. Yeah,
That's crazy,
Yeah.
right? Basketball in the 80s was not basketball in the 80s. It was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And
tape
you know,
delay championship games before them.
people embraced Michael Jordan. People who played with him embraced him. I mean, Isaiah Thomas, who
Didn't embrace them.
who probably hated the Bulls and hated Jordan. I
Well,
mean,
they hated
he
Jordan.
never made it about him. Well, you know, I should have been the MVP and I should have been the greatest
Yeah.
of all time. And I don't know. I really worry about this league's ability to maintain the popularity that they've gained in this year, and not by the people necessarily who are at the top, but by the rank and file who are underneath. It's a little freaky. So that was my surprise.
Yeah,
I was going to make a point, but Gregory just beat me to it. And I've heard the same thing. It's that the WNBA is, and I really don't want to sound a little too conservative here, but it's so much of the league is black and lesbian that if you don't fit into that category, it's very tough. I've heard that from a couple of players in interviews. So
Yeah.
so Caitlin Clark is
heard that
white, and I think she's straight. I don't know, and I don't care.
No,
to be
she's
honest with you,
straight.
but
Yeah.
so
And
she's got 2 checks against her in those categories. So and she's getting all the attention. But you know what? People said a lot of the teams. You use Larry Bird as an example. When he came into the league, a lot of people, there was a lot of jealousy that he's just getting all this attention because he's white. There may be some truth to it, but you know what?
yeah,
When you
well,
can play, you can play.
well, and I think she says, "Hey, I earned everything I deserved, and I want to give credit to the people who came before me." She grew up watching the WNBA. She grew up wanting to play in it.
Yeah.
Other people that just started watching this year because Caitlin Clark showed up, and you thought she was this good Christian girl from the Midwest that probably aligned with your religious and political beliefs. She
Nope.
doesn't.
No.
She's Catholic. I think she leans towards the Democratic Party, but she's not spewing out things like Greg Popovich. But I mean, the comments she made to Time Magazine, you thought that she, tried to assassinate the Pope. I mean, she just made a comment, and everybody's like, "I'm done with you. I was going to support you. I was going to go watch a game, but now I'm not." Really, Megan Kelly, you were going to watch a game? Jason Whitlock?
Megan Kelly hasn't watched a game
Watch
ever.
the game. I
So
mean, all
stupid.
these guys. I don't care about the WNBA, but I would. But now I'm not going to care. And
No, you wouldn't. It's the
you know,
same
we're
people
gonna
that said
cancel you
hold
like
on.
Bud Light.
It's the
Okay,
same.
whatever.
It's the same people that said they were going to boycott the NFL, but they're still bitching about things.
They're
about
still
the
there.
NFL,
They're
but
still
here's
drinking Bud Light.
Here's the difference, and here's the part that's really the big issue. The noise outside, you're always going to have noise outside. It
Yep.
doesn't matter who.
Especially today.
Yeah, social media age. It's the noise that comes from inside that I find this is very unique and very problematic.
Well,
Agreed, 100%, Dave.
And she's also getting hit from both sides. Like Jason Whitlock was criticizing her outfit, saying that she was trying to go from the girl next door to something slutty. And
what is slutty about that?
And then he had an issue with how her breasts looked in this outfit, which I'm not even going to get into detail.
Stop right there. Don't even bring that part up.
Yeah, it's
just because his boobs are bigger.
Yeah, And this is what people have an issue with. It's just they're complaining about stuff, and there's nothing wrong giving credit to the people that came before you, because how many of us, when we travel, went to a WNBA game, some idiot friend of ours, oh, it's too bad you had to see that game where there were 5 people there. When I went to Seattle to see the Storm 2 summers ago, people were making fun of me for going to that game. And it's like, why?
Yeah,
The
the
hell do you
Storm are
care?
one of the best experiences I've
Yeah.
ever had.
Yeah.
And for convention,
And the
we went
Lynx,
to the Mystics.
Minnesota Lynx draw really well.
It was fine. But yeah, it's those it's not the Whitlocks, because Whitlock is going to complain about everything.
Yeah,
He's going to complain about a lot of
he
different
had
stuff.
John Rocker on the show.
It's the people that are inside. It's the other players who are not talking about, this is this is my competitor. I'm going to compete with her. I could be better than her. It's Angel Reese's comments aren't about her being better than Caitlin Clark. They're about her not getting enough attention compared to Caitlin Clark.
She's becoming like a sidekick. I'm getting kind of tired of hearing Angel Reese. I mean,
Anyway,
I think she's a hell of a player.
That's my surprise. We got to move on.
Well, sticking on the WNBA, my surprise, since we're on the WNBA, the Indiana Fever game. I went there with a friend earlier this year against Los Angeles, and it was the first time that I saw a Fever game in recent memory since the Tamika Catchins days when they won the championship in 2012. That they had the balcony open, and it felt like a Pacers game. You did not feel like you were being like when you went to Fever games before. It felt like they were doing so much to entertain you. Like, oh, thank you for being here. 4,000 people was the average in 2023. They did 17,000 a game this year. The balcony was open. People were hanging around downtown before. Little boys and little girls were wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys. It felt like an event. It's like, wow, this is big time. And then once the game started, I mean, we were all into that game, cheering as if we were watching our favorite team. So that's what I hope we get to see throughout the 2025 season. I hope other cities embrace their new teams in Toronto, great logo, and Golden State, another better logo. But that was a surprise. I knew there was going to be a Caitlin Clark effect. I just didn't know how big it was going to be. And I hope, and if she can lead this team to a championship, they're going to have a parade for her downtown Meridian. So let's just hope. We love Caitlin. I don't think she has to answer to anybody. She knows more about basketball than we'll ever forget, and that includes some of the players.
She is even
You got that backwards, Mark.
The fact that she's even wasting her time answering these people.
Yeah, well, she's honest. I think she's honest.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with what she said,
and she doesn't seem to be afraid to tell it like it is, and I don't think she's been controversial. But so, the Fever have made a big mark here. And they fired their coach to get a better coach in, and hopefully.
Yeah, thanks. You stole.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
You took the Connecticut coach.
Oh yeah, yep, that's right. So,
and I just wanted to add in, I love Angel Reese as well.
Oh yeah,
more power.
I like Angel too. I'm
invested. I'm invested now, baby. If not,
it doesn't have to be an either or. It could be an and.
Yeah.
It's just
play both. The villain, but
it could be both,
Yeah. And with new teams coming up and new expansion, I'm hearing Cleveland, I'm hearing Portland again. That gives more and more women a chance to play.
Toronto.
The NBA only grew in the 80s because there was Bird and Magic.
Yep.
Not Bird or Magic.
All right.
WNBA,
wow.
2 for 2.
Real quick, while we're on the subject, just real quick. Come on, game, computer, boom. Including the Toronto Tempo. How do we feel about that?
That's the Indiana Pacers.
That's not good.
That's the OHL logo.
That too.
I mean, it's so many.
That's pretty terrible.
That looks like, hey, this was our logo in 1987. Like, part of me likes it, part of me hates it, but
I don't hate it.
Look at the T; it's moving.
It's like that's a logo I would have tried to draw my, notebook cover. And
when you're
I would comment, but I can't draw, so I won't.
And what is that like that's a really light blue. So it's going to be maroon and light blue. I love those colors.
Yeah, it's like the reverse Phillies. Or the reverse, powders.
Here we come.
That's the Sixers. Sorry.
TOR, Toronto Tempo.
I hate him. Get off my show.
All right.
I like
So
this.
Surprise us, Paul.
Kick
I
them
like
out of the
Evan
club.
being producer.
And Dave will be there for the Toronto Tempo's opening tip-off in 26,
Of
correct?
course he will.
I don't sense I'll be there for the opening, but I'm not
Well,
adverse to
sometime.
being there.
Do we know, Dave, did they announce where they're playing?
Coca-Cola, I think.
Coca-Cola
They're gonna play
Coliseum, right?
Coca-Cola. Cool.
Except when Caitlin Clark's in town.
Do you see all the teams moving to the NBA arenas? Like the Suns games against
Yep.
Indiana are going to be played at the Garden.
Washington.
Oh, they are.
Washington,
You're not
yeah.
asking. You're telling.
Oh,
yeah.
they're playing in
great.
Boston when she's in town?
Yep.
Nice.
They played
Good.
one game there last year. They sold out the Garden.
Oh,
Good.
I didn't know that.
19,000 people.
Let's
Yeah.
move the team to Boston.
It's like the wrestling thing. Real quick, be quiet, Mark. I'm making a point here. More means better for the fans. Look at the sport as a whole. It's basketball. Men's, women's, whatever. More basketball means more for us, and that's good because both leagues will strive to be good or better. That kind of competition is healthy. So the same thing with hockey. Hopefully the PWHL keeps growing, however long it takes, and we can get to the same point. That's going to be fun. It's exciting. There's more. I'm happy.
And the PWHL is already talking about expansion too. Next year, two more teams. They haven't announced anybody.
No, but it's
they haven't announced where, but
it's like going to be one Canada and Pittsburgh, right? Pretty much.
No, actually, they're looking out west. I've heard Calgary, I've heard Vancouver, I've heard Seattle.
Calgary.
What if they put a team in Calgary? What are they going to do about the colors? Crap.
Hey, one of the best things Boston did is not go black and gold.
Yes. I know you don't like that logo, but man, that makes me happy.
It's growing on me a little bit, but yeah, it's
like a fungus.
Yeah, fungus
among us.
No, not on me.
Can't get rid of it like a toe fungus.
All right. Anyway, let's get some listener submissions for biggest surprise of the year. Terry McCutcheon told me about his most unique stadium he visited, Robert Nail Stadium in Albany, Texas. And why is it unique to him? It has pieces from the original school building built into the stadium. It used to be on the site of a school. So like they got the original archway to the school and the walls and stuff like that. So
why do I know the name Terry McCutcheon?
He's a writer for Stadium Journey.
Okay.
In Abilene.
Besides that, I don't know. Sounds like a wrestling name, doesn't it?
That sounds like a wrestling name, yes.
Terry McCutcheon. Sounds like a
Terry,
wrestler.
Bad boy Terry McCutcheon.
Bad
boy's coming to get you.
Gregory Koch's biggest surprise of the year was a soccer team, the Annapolis Blues of the NPSL. They're a 4th Division semi-pro team, but they draw over 10,000 fans a game at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. And he says it's as good as any MLS atmosphere. They've got a tailgating scene. They got supporter sections, the works. Everything that you see in the MLS, they got there at the Annapolis Blues.
Gregory just said Terry the Crusher McCutcheon.
Yeah, that's. I mean, just Terry McCutcheon. Sounds like it could be, a heel.
Yeah.
He could come out in a cowboy hat and.
yeah, you're right.
That 4th Division team is drawing $10,000. That's an amateur. Man, they're making.
So that's incredible. That the amount of people they're drawing.
Yeah,
I mean that's more than what AFC Wimbledon drew in England. Wow.
Yeah, he said they only use one side of Navy Marine Corps Stadium, but it's packed.
Yeah, that's what Chattanooga used to draw like that in the 4th Division, but those days are over.
Who else we got for surprises? Meg Menard was a big fan of the check swing challenge that was being used in the Arizona Fall League last year. So I don't if any of you have been to the to certain levels of minor league baseball and the ball strike challenge, it's very similar to that. So that was her choice. Eddie Hoops, his biggest surprise of the year was the Yankees choking in Game 5 of the World Series. I think that's something we can all get on board with.
Well, I mean, they would have lost 4-2.
Unanimous.
The biggest surprise, Fat Joe, sucking it up. Okay.
Dave Albee's biggest surprise of the year was Cleveland State Soccer coming from behind twice to tie Akron after they had lost 7 of their last 8 games and the 3 before that by a combined 13-0 score. So, out of nowhere, Cinderella story.
Cinderella boy. No.
All right, so I'm going to wrap up with my biggest surprise of the year. Mine wasn't a stadium or a game or a league. It was a city. And it's really kind of sad to bring up this city now after what ended up happening later in the year. On my big baseball trip, I spent my birthday in the great city of Asheville, North Carolina.
Good time.
Oh man.
And Asheville calls itself Brew City because they got a lot of little craft breweries there, and they're not wrong. And they're all downtown, and they're all very walkable. And guess how many we visited on my birthday?
All of them.
All of them.
Jesus, what's that, about 12?
There were, I think there were more. We had to have visited at least 10.
All of them. How were you standing up by the?
And we capped the night off with a ball game.
Jesus, Paul must have been fun at that game.
I almost fell up the stairs. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
There were no railings. Because
no.
if you ever been to the was it McCormick Field?
McCormick Field, yeah.
It was built in the 30s, so it's not the most accessible. There was no railings to hang on to, so I was weaving.
Yeah, very small. Well, rebuilt in 1992, but it was made to look like
not the most exciting stadium, but I had to walk uphill both ways to get to that stadium.
Yeah.
It's at the top. It's halfway up a mountain, so we parked up above the stadium. So we walked down.
Not a good.
Went out and walked around the downtown, drank and drank and drank. We forgot to eat, but we drank a lot.
Jesus, Paul,
and so then we had to walk back up the hill to get to the ballpark. Then after the game, we had to walk back up the hill again to get to the car. So,
put in your steps though.
I sure did. Sobered me right up. I'm just checking my phone here to see if I have a picture. There is a picture that Pam has of what. Oh, here it is. Of what I look like after several of the brewery stops.
Yeah, I remember that picture. Hey!
That's like my wife when we went to Napa. She wanted to hit all the wineries. I'm like, you're not going to make it.
You
past
can't hit all
3.
of them. But yeah, Asheville, I mean, the downtown area, breweries everywhere, good restaurants. There was a great barbecue place. Pinball Museum was down there that I wanted to stumble in, but it wasn't open, or I think we might have just traipsed right past it. A lot of stuff to do, but yeah, it's kind of sad to think about Asheville now after the flooding that happened there in the fall. But I knew that Asheville was going to be a fun day, but it surpassed my wildest dreams. And I was glad I had a 5-hour drive to Nashville the next day, Memphis the next day, because I needed the rest.
Drive.
So that was my biggest surprise of 2024. I thought you had a video of me, because there might be one out there. The Pinball Museum.
Yeah, I was trying to bring up the Pinball Museum.
Yeah, the only time I remember going to a game pissed drunk after taking a beer tour was in the Toronto Rock game. I went to about 3 breweries before there and just was drinking nonstop. And I met up with a bunch of folks from South Africa, and they were driving me around in their van.
You knew.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. And I was like,
You
well, I'm going to go back to the hotel. I'm like, no, just drop me off at the game. And I show up at the game just hammered.
Let's not talk about them. That's a bad idea.
I have diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked.
So all right, everybody. That wraps up
to the home of the Cougar Ran.
That wraps up our look at the best of 2024. So as we wrap up the show, I'm not sure if any of you received or heard the announcement, but after this episode, we're going to put the show on hiatus for a little while. 7 years, 200 episodes.
We are.
Take a break. We're all going to still be around. We'll still be writing Dave Martin.
Definitely going to be around.
Journey. Dan still got his live stream going and his other podcast on his channels and on HIEC Talk Radio Network. Mark still got the Ballpark Hunter podcast, and David and I still going to crank out the Obstructed Views now and again. And I personally, we haven't decided exactly what we're going to do. I'm not looking at this as the end of the podcast. It's just it's a break. So we haven't decided how it's going to look like when we get back or when. But we may come back to do some talk to some of our favorite guests or revisit our favorite topics or like
political issues.
What I'd like to do every year. I want to keep this going. This is always a lot of fun for me. So yeah, maybe the podcast will retool like Saturday Night Live. We'll come back with a whole new cast. So
yeah, the
1980. I don't think it's goodbye. I think it's kind of just smell you later. And I know Dave, you said you wanted to maybe talk about some of our favorite memories from 7 years and 200 episodes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Some remembrances that stand out.
I mean, some for me, it's like some of the guests that we had that really
Absolutely.
stand out. I mean, we had I would say like the regulars, like Andrew Bossy came on a lot, Tim Capper and Mike Hogan.
Yep.
Some of the episodes that really stuck out for me when we had Naomi Silver of the Rochester Red Wings, the owner. That was pretty good. The one when my wife was on and we spent an hour talking about pet peeves, that was pretty awesome.
That was a fun one. Like,
and
there
then
are weird ones were my favorites. Yeah.
yeah, I would say probably my favorite was when we had Brian Cooper on, who was the president of the Argonauts back in the John Candy Gretzky days and worked for MLSE and was just really a high-powered sports executive for a lot of years.
I didn't know the Naomi Silver episode is monetized. News to me.
Wow.
There's
Do
an
you have
ad
a
running
song
on
in
it.
there? Is there a song?
I don't
in
know.
there?
There's an ad. No, there's no copyright on it. It's just
Where's my
monetized.
money?
Somebody else is making money on it.
Buddy, yeah, I got to check that out. I want to know.
Naomi's making money off of it.
I kind of don't want to stop the ad because let's see what happens.
How about-
No, I was trying to show a clip from the show.
Hey, look at that handsome guy.
Oh yeah, Dave, I didn't ask. What hat are you wearing today for the final episode? Because I don't know if you guys have noticed who watched the show. Dave always ties his hat into our topic.
Yeah, my hat. I got my Laurier football hat. Yeah, if we were to say a disappointment of the year, it would have been that that the Laurier Golden Hawks didn't win the Vanier Cup. But I'm not sure what else I would have picked. I do have an Oakland hat, an Oakland Golden Grizzlies hat somewhere, but it's not really a great hat. But
how about you, Mark? Any memories that stand out for you?
Well, I like the episodes where we just talk about something topical, like when we had that conversation about the baseball jerseys, the new cool, what were they called? Last year we did the jerseys for baseball and we were
When they switch companies, you mean?
Yeah, when they switch companies and like crap, and we're having a conversation whether we should talk about that. And I think that episode went really well. I like when we had. I just not that I think we can do this show without a guest all the time, and we can just have these topical conversations. And when it becomes organic and natural, and we kind of feed off one another. Of course, Dan and I go on a rant sometimes over pork roll or.
It's called pork roll.
It's like the things that we're always.
Okay, wait a second. You can't like harp on him for like saying that it's pork roll when he actually calls it pork roll. What's wrong with you?
No, well, we called it both, but there are people in New Jersey that live a bit
not
north of me.
both.
Go talk to somebody in Bergen County.
They
will
are
die on a sword
incorrect.
Taylor Ham.
Is that Central Jersey, Mark?
I'm doing an article on the history of Taylor Ham pork roll. I have enough.
It's not Taylor Ham. The sign said pork roll. I have an echo. I'm right.
I'm just thinking the least favorite episode is when Jeff Perlman came on here and ghosted us, big timed us.
5 minutes in.
5 minutes in. Oh, I'm at my sister's house and the internet went out.
Nobody
so
likes you anyway,
John
Jeff.
Walker and I say, screw you, Jeff. You're full of shit.
That's an awesome writer. His books are awesome.
Yeah. Well,
I read one of his books.
I can't believe I was agreeing with John Rocker today. Like, how dare you call the 86 Mets a bunch of bad guys? That was the badass team. That was my team, and you're calling
Screw
them
those
bad
Mets.
guys?
John Rocker is a piece of garbage with stupid hair.
Well, he's a big guy now.
Wasn't Lenny Dykstra on that team?
Dykstra,
Yeah, see, they're bad guys just because he was on that team.
Well, Dykstra, you had Kevin Mitchell, who apparently cut the head off a cat. I don't know how true that is.
I can't argue with Dave in this instance. Damn it.
But I'm trying to think, like, sometimes we get these guests on that I'm like, yeah, what are they going to talk about? And then we get in this really cool conversation. Like, we had the gentleman who wrote the book about his favorite players off baseball cards.
Oh, yes. Brad Baluchin, the wax
he
pack.
was trying to talk to Carlton
He's
Fisk.
revisiting it with wrestlers.
Yeah,
he
did one with
Sorry,
wrestlers.
what?
It was pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Those are nice surprises. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to talk to this guy. And then we're like, oh, really? You're trying to get Carlton Fisk? You had to chase him on a golf course?
What about when I think you got this guy? He was like the general manager of some
I got a guy.
some baseball team that I had never heard of and honestly didn't care about. And it turned out that he was the son of the first manager of the Montreal Expos.
Oh, Fanning for
Top Skunks,
yeah,
right?
Jim Fanning.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Since this technically the last regular episode of
Yeah, the
Jane
GM
Granny,
and former
I
manager.
just want to
of
ask.
the
Shut up, Mark.
Montreal
I just
Expos.
want to ask.
Shut up.
Shut up, Mark. Shut up. What does that
Shut up.
sign say?
Sandwiches.
Taylor.
What does it
Portwood.
say under above it?
Taylor.
What does it
Taylor
say?
Ham. I
Sandwiches. It
can't
says
see it.
sandwich.
The one and only.
The one and only Taylor Pork
Yeah.
Roll. It says it twice.
Good. Yeah, I don't have a problem calling it a pork roll. But yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking about Jim Fanning, the former GM of the Expos, and his
What
son.
would he call it? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know what the
He
hell
would call it what the rest of us call it, baloney.
Oh, stop it! Now you're pissing Dan and I off.
That's those are fighting words, and I actually want to throw
The Jamestown Tarp Skunk. That was the guy. Yeah. You know, he never. I don't think he ever, because COVID came. He never got to GM that team during a regular season. I don't know. I think
Okay.
he was from London, Ontario. He couldn't even leave the country for a while.
Hey,
Oh,
let's
geez.
be honest. We should give ourselves a huge pat in the back. Not only did we last 7 years, but we got through COVID
Yeah.
when nobody was going anywhere.
Well, everybody was
had shows
available to
running.
be on the show. Yeah, it was like, what do you want to do? Especially Dave up in Canada. Hey now. Hey now. So,
I'm on the show, like, because we did like city theme shows a lot, and then somebody would come on and say, "Yeah, you know what? I could talk about such and such a city,"
Chicago.
and then they'd come on, and I haven't been there. No, I haven't been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember somebody doing Chicago. This is Chicago.
That happened more than once to us.
I'm going to
about
all
you,
the
Dan?
basketball arenas. Oh, really? Have you been to Duke? Nope. You
Yeah.
been to North Carolina? Nope.
I've been
Kansas? Nope.
No.
Been to Valpo. Nothing against Valpo, but
How about
Yeah.
you, Dan? Some of your favorite memories?
What?
How about you?
Uh,
I wasn't paying attention.
Colleen Coyne, Naomi, and Andrew Bowles are always my favorites. And that time we found out that Emma, I
Yeah.
can never remember
Emma
her last name. Tiedemann is related to one of the greatest announcers in wrestling history, like directly. Oh my God, his name is blanking.
Bill Mercer.
Bill Mercer. Thank you, Dave. I knew he was going to bail me out. I was hoping he'd do it before I asked for help. But Bill Mercer was like, everybody talks about Jim Ross and Mike, like Jim Ross, the NWA guy, Gordon Soley. Bill Mercer was first. Bill Mercer is the one that set the tone. That was WCCW was syndicated before a lot of these other shows nationwide, and that's the voice they heard. Bill Mercer is a trend center in wrestling, and the apple did not fall too far from the tree. And Emma Tiedemann was on national TV this year.
Yeah,
just
she's
this
always
past fall, a couple months ago, and it was great to see. And not surprising to me, sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Not a shocker. That's a personal favorite moment because it was like she kind of mentions it in passing, and it's like, excuse me, don't break it, don't say a word, Dad, don't cut her off, and then wait for the sentence to end. Sorry, are you related to Bill Mercer?
Yeah, that was great. You guys mentioned a lot of my favorites, a lot of our recurring guests, and Andrew Bowles is a favorite, and Tim Capper and Mike Hogan. Loved having Colleen Coyne on. I mean, I early worked with her for a few years with the Pride, and then bugging her to come on, and finally got her to do it.
That was.
I remember when we had Nick Morocco on right after the Boston Cannons won the PLL
right.
championship.
Yep.
And he was just kind of hanging out on his couch. I couldn't have been more casual. I kind of like some of the weird stuff we did too. When we're like you talked about how we made it through COVID. We made it through COVID by really pulling topics out of our rear ends. I mean, we did like our favorite movies, or the food episode we did. I always like the episodes where we're just like four guys sitting in a bar having a beer and just shooting the shit. Those
Yeah,
were
we were able to talk to some people we wouldn't normally get to talk to, like who have some time issues, right? Like Got to talk to, was it Chris Tuck in England?
Yeah, we talked to him on a Saturday
And Dre Ojeda in LA. And
with the.
hey, we even did an episode in New Orleans in the ballpark with
That's
the
right.
Australian.
Yeah, we had Lloyd Rothwell on the podcast
And then
from the ballpark in New Orleans. Yeah.
Then we did an episode with Dave and I and a couple of dudes from camp. More. I was the only American on this show about the CFL proposed merger with the XFL.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That got a lot. Is that our most watched or viewed?
It might be. We
Is
had Jim Flannery and Tim Capper, and
Yeah,
was
Flannery
it
and
you and
Capper.
I?
Yeah. I was it was reverse.
See, all the best episodes happened when I wasn't there, so maybe it was
Yeah.
me all the time.
That's it. Tim Capper's coming on board. He's replacing you.
I think back to our first season when we were just getting our footing, and we decided we were going to review the Stadium Journey rankings of all the Major League ballparks. And we had this smart idea. We're going to do an American League and a National League episode. We're going to record them all on the same night. So we're looking at a 2-hour recording session. We get about, 2/3 of the way through the list, and Dan says, guys, I got to stop you. I just lost everything.
I remember that.
So instead of saying, you know what, all right, let's punt, let's do it another
Somebody
night.
forgot to hit record.
Let's just
None
start
of them
over.
were.
I think we talked for about 5 or 6 hours that night. Show twice. Like we were doing an East Coast version and a West Coast version.
And yes, to verify the XFL CFL speculation episode is the highest podcast episode
Still.
on the Stadium Journey Network. But everything above that is obstructed views. So, and then Taylor Silent Night. You got Taylor Silent. So you got Taylor Silent Night, some obstructed views, and Mark, you doing a bunch of reviews and obstructed views, and then the XFL episode.
Yeah.
So,
hey, anybody listening, you send me some videos. I can just. It feels like any kind of video I post on the Same Journey website gets 4,000 hits, I think, right?
And then the more popular podcast episode after that, which is the XFL episode, 2 more obstructed views, minor league mayhem.
Oh yeah, minor league mayhem.
Yeah.
Also during COVID.
Was that the reorganization there?
Yeah, when they lopped off a bunch of teams.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Oh, we didn't do it because we were going to get rich or famous. We did it because we had fun. I had fun hanging with you guys every other Monday for 7 years. And year 8's going to happen too, I think, in some kind of way, shape, or form.
I still have not met Dan in person. We have never met in person.
Better off. You call it Taylor Ham in my face, we're gonna fist fight.
Now, Dave, I felt like I saw him every day last summer. So.
I met Dave in person. We went to a Wings game, and he did not run away from me or get tired of me that quickly. That is a big thing because I wear
car keys.
I no, you know what? I was on my best behavior because I woke up that morning. It felt like my foot was broken. Why? What happened? I'm old. I just the day before it was fine. I woke up. I couldn't walk on it.
Says the man born in the 80s.
Yeah,
so
he's
I was
by far the youngest person on this group.
Well, I'm older than some people that listen. My point is I was limping into the stadium like going.
Maybe it's just Dave. Maybe Dave does something because when we went to the Orioles game, I could hardly move myself.
Oh man, it hurt so bad. I don't know what I did.
My wife had 12 coffee martinis on Sunday. I'm surprised she got to work today.
But that was also the first time I was in Wells Fargo after the renovations and the upgrades. So it was nice, because it was his first time too. We could take our time, walk around the concourse, look at all the new stuff, look at all the different levels, finally go to the seat and be there amongst like 100 other people on a Wings game.
And 50 dogs.
Yeah, 50 dogs nowhere near me. So I was just bummed out. It's just, ugh. But luckily, I was watching the last game they played against Vegas, and it's almost doubled. So at least it's not going lower; it's going up. Which is good if they win.
All right, guys. I think that'll do it for 2024. So everybody, and all of you who wished us the best and said how much you enjoyed our show over the years, thanks to all of you who've listened and supported us for 7 years. It's been a lot of fun. thanks you guys for hanging out with me every couple of Monday nights and giving me something to do. And
If you
most
didn't
of
like
all,
it, bite me.
huh? What?
And I said, if you didn't like it, bite me.
Right, exactly. And most
Yeah.
of all, we got to thank Kelly, Denise, Amy, and Pam for letting the four of us play together on Monday nights.
Yeah. Are you
So,
kidding? It's time away from her. She's more than happy to go.
It was more of a struggle for some of our wives than others. Let's just say
Listen,
that.
Dave put it great. It's one of my favorite clips where I'm doing my thing, naturally reacting to someone, and Kelly's on the show, and you just hear her pause and not say anything, and just Dave breaks in with, "Kelly, you're a saint." Yeah, fair enough.
So, guys, for Dan, one more time for Dan, Mark, and Dave, this is Paul saying thanks for everything, and wish you all safe stadium journeys and close games. See you soon.